Um, Something interesting happened to me my last film class, which I hope doesn't happen to a lot of people. But in college, I genuinely felt left out in a conversation that I feel like I should have taken charge and spoken about. But I was kind of scared to speak on the topic and the issue based on being the only Mexican there and the only minority there. So I feel like I had a really hard time speaking up for myself and for other minorities in that group. To preface, we were doing a talk about race in our film class. We just watched this film named Zama, which is about a colonizer colonizing Argentina in the late 1800s. Um, I guess it was an alright film. I gotta give it to them that they did a good job with the mise en scène and like the props, location, costume of the film. They made it feel like it was in the 1800s, but at the same time, it had a white savior type of beat to it, I would say. It kind of wanted to make you feel bad for white people, and I genuinely could not care more about feeling bad about white people. No offense, but as a Latino in America, I genuinely found that film offensive. Not a lot of things I find offensive, but that film was one of them. Why are you gonna go ahead and show me a film about a colonizer colonizing my people back in the 1800s and make a sob story about him to make him like the woest woe in the movie? What would I even call that? He's not the bad guy. He's the good guy, I guess. Make him the good guy of the movie. But genuinely, the whole movie, he was the bad guy. He was colonizing Argentina during the 1800s, meaning that he was literally colonizing our people, colonizing the Americas. And they just made this film to make us feel bad for them. And I'm all like, do I really feel bad for them? Or do I not give a fuck? And I genuinely don't give a fuck. And honestly, the reason why I don't care is because there's no representation for minorities in film. If you have noticed film within the past 100 years, the majority race in film is white people. Once they start representing white people less in film, then I guess I would feel bad. But at this point in time, there is no representation of indigenous people, Mexican people, Muslim people, Asian people, Jamaican people. The list just goes on and on. The mass represented race in film is white people. And in this film, they marginalize Mexican people to being indigenous slaves. They reference them as black people. They reference them as like nothing else other than a slave. And honestly, I don't think this is a good depiction of indigenous people, Mexican people, Latinx people back in the day, because you're literally showing people that what you took stuff from us. You took our land, you took our resources, you took our people from us to sell, and you're expecting us to just be okay with it. And I genuinely was not okay with it. And I had a really hard time speaking up in class when it came time to talking about race in film, because there was nobody of my color there. There was nobody there to back me up. And honestly, I felt outcasted. Nobody in that class spoke about any racial issues. They didn't speak about what they were doing to the indigenous people, taking away their land, taking away their resources. They more talked about how they felt bad for the white person in the film, which is the main protagonist called Zama, Diego Sama. And honestly, I couldn't feel one bit bad for him. I could not relate to this film one bit, and I guess that's okay. I generally don't know. This film wasn't made for me, which is okay, but I know it was made for some white person to feel bad for them. The director of the film is called Luciadra Martel, yo creo. Like, her name is Luciadra Martel. And I genuinely don't think she did a good film with this movie. I honestly think it was made for white people, and that's disgusting. It's honestly disgusting. If you guys want to check out the movie, go ahead. But if you're a minority, a person of color, I genuinely don't think you'll enjoy this film. It gave me a sour taste in my mouth, and I will keep prefacing that and keep telling people that because it's disgusting. It's disgusting the way they depict white people in this film and the way they depict indigenous people. They make a good effort at showing how white people were more luxurious and had more resources than indigenous people, but at the same time, why are we representing indigenous people like this? This is not a good depiction for us. Why just why? I honestly can't stress enough how upsetting this film made me feel. And Unfortunately, I feel like there is going to be experiences like this for other people that go to college. So I wish them the best of luck when it comes to having experiences like this. But we need to be the change. We have to change the future for ourselves as minorities and for our future kin, if you think about it, because we need to change how people see media and not depict minorities or people of color as evil or as dumb or as just people they could take advantage of. So we'll see how this progresses as I study. But honestly, this is not a good depiction of indigenous people, and it shouldn't even have a good rating. If you go on the internet, that movie has a high rating on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb. So we gotta do better. We have to do better. So yeah. I know this is more of a serious video. I apologize for that, but there's issues like this that I would like to talk about on my channel. So just be prepared for that. Let me know what you guys thought about this video down in the comments below. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch ya monkeys in the next one. Yeah!